What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of LKD Talks. My name is Emmanuel LKD, and let's unplug and be real for a sec. Now, today we got a special guest. Please welcome Amar. Yeah.
I actually like to pronounce it Amar, but I mean,
my bad.
No, it's cool. Like Mitch Durrell, that's a homie. He pronounces it Amar too on his YouTube reaction videos. But yeah, I've been meaning to say it's actually Amar. So.
Oh God, I should ask you that.
No, you're good.
Amar. Good. All right, bet.
That's gonna happen a few times.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one. Yeah, shout out Mitch Durrell. All right, so Amar, can you tell the audience who you are, what you do, and why you do it?
Yeah, so I'm an artist. I make music right now in CHH. So hip hop, rap. What was the other question?
And why do you do it?
Why do I do it? I do music because it's a passion of mine, and because I feel like it's a gift, talent God has given me. So I don't want it to go to waste, and I do it because I want people to be inspired. I want to help people find utility in my music, so that when they hear it, they can take something from it, and hopefully it motivates them to follow God and to just achieve whatever calling they have in their life. I would say that's it.
And speaking of calling, how did you know that it was your calling? Like, when did you first kind of make music?
Yeah, so I would say like my love for like hip hop started when I was like, I think it was like 5 years old or something like that. Like, I think the first rap verse that I've ever heard was Gorilla's Clint Eastwood. I don't know if you ever heard that song.
Okay.
But I don't know how it even came on, but somebody was playing it and there's like a rap verse on that. And I heard that and I was like, yo, I just love like the cadences, like the flow and like just the fact that it was rhyming and all that. Like, and I memorized that verse and like I would rap it like as a little kid, like to my parents and all that. And then like I think that like for me to start making music, that started like later on in high school. Me and my homies would in class we would write raps. So we would kind of battle rap each other, but like not with audio. It was like more so like we would just like write whatever we could, like the best lines we could think of, and then we would like pass it on to them like without the teacher noticing, and then they would write the best they could. We would go back and forth, and then like one time I remember during lunch, like this was I think geometry, right before lunchtime, like we were doing that, and somehow that paper got a hold of like random like friends of ours that didn't even know we did that. And they were just like, they were passing it to each other. So like all of a sudden in lunchtime, I'm hearing like people come up to me and they're like, yo, like those were some like dope lines you wrote. And I was like, it kind of felt like super weird. Like I felt like a boost of like confidence there. Like just seeing like people like react so positively to like us just being dumb and writing like cool lines, you know, like, and so like, I think from there is where like I like wanted to do it to a further extent, like actually make music. And then yeah, I mean the rest, like I've just been working on it with my friends, and we've done like a few performances here and there, here in Colorado, which is where I'm from, and then yeah, I think that's where that started, and then now I'm trying to like really like take it a step further and like release like more music and do more with it.
Sweet, thanks for sharing that, man. I think that's the first time I've ever heard like non-audio battle rap, just like handing.
Yeah, it's like, and we
bars
couldn't,
over
like,
to each
we would
other.
be like giggling sometimes, or like, you know, just like, you know, kind of like looking at each other and like like almost making a scene of it, because like we're kids and you know like kids are loud in classrooms and stuff, but like we knew if like we actually like did it out loud, the teacher would get like super mad at us. So like it was kind of like our little secret thing, and it was like yeah, it was cool, man.
Okay, that's sweet. And
Yeah.
so you said now that you're making music with your friends, and that kind of segues into another question that I want to ask is, what is Once Wckd? You know, at first I thought it was like a band like Brockhampton, but
Yeah.
we've had a conversation about how it's something else before. You said it was a collective. So
Yeah.
just so I'll just let you kind of speak on what is Once Wicked.
Yeah, so Once Wicked, the name itself first and foremost, is like it represents us like coming from a world of darkness and like us like recognizing that at one point we didn't have God and like we were like just living however we wanted, you know? And uh the whole concept behind that comes just to encourage people that I guess don't believe in God or maybe did at one point and don't anymore, that like feel like they can't get close to church because they feel like, you know, they're too deep in like sin or like darkness, that like to let them know like, hey, we were once wicked, like we get that side, so like we wanted to highlight that, like we understand what it's like to feel lost, and we understand what it's like to just to be like transparent, like to do, you know, like drink and to like go to parties and to, you know, fall into lust or whatever it is. Like we understand that. So like we want to show people that you can still, um, we want to be inviting. We want to let people know like you can listen to us and we're not going to, I guess, put that in your face. Like if you, you know,
Mhm.
whatever it is that your life looks like. And so that's where the name comes from. And it is a collective of us. It's me, my friend Alan, Marco, and Bree. Recently, like we put out a project called "She Was a Fighter." That's where Bree was, what Bree was on, and she goes by Brisa, which is what her grandparents used to call her when she was little. So that's her artist name.
Okay, dope.
And so, yeah, like that's it's us four, but that's just music. So like as a collective, we want to express our talents and gifts beyond music. So like clothes, art, like physical art and stuff like that. Like even I think can you see that painting up there in that
Yeah, I can
corner?
see like
You can't
half of
really
it.
see it.
Yeah.
You can't really see it, but my sister made that. Like she does art. She graduated from art school, and like I consider her part of Once Wicked too. So like whenever she makes art, like she's expressing her talents as well, and like she
Mm.
wants to give glory to God like that way. And so yeah, just anybody that wants to do that, uh, you know, that wants to be part of it can be part of it. So that's what Once Wicked is.
Oh, that's dope. That's
Yeah.
dope. So when did you start Once Wicked, and I guess why did you start Once Wicked? Like how did it come together?
Yeah, so it started with me and my friend Alan back in like 20, I don't know, it was like so long ago because like I said, like we used to just kind of like brainstorm ideas. And I think it was like 2011 or something like that, that like I came up with the name Once Wicked. It just I couldn't even tell you really how I came up with it. It was just like we were just thinking of ideas and I was like, what is Wicked? And like um yeah, like it just came together, you know, through us just sitting down and like being like, what do we want to do? What's the vision that we have, and like what do we feel can convey that? And so it started out with me and my friend Alan, and we came out with an EP called Open Mic Lounge, which is like only on SoundCloud right now. So it's like super old, but that was like our debut like work together, and it was just like some boom bap rap that we came up with. And yeah, I mean the rest is just we've been working on some newer stuff, and then now I just recently launched my solo page.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Yo, by the way, check out Clear the Air and Avalanche.
Sure.
Yo, those are
Yes, sir.
bangers, bro. Those are bangers.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So something I've noticed too is that you've got connections to pretty big names in CHH, like DJ Mike V. I see that Marty from Social Club Misfits even follows you. And we've had a conversation about this in the past, but how did you get so acquainted with them?
Man, okay, like everybody asks me like how is it that I talk to these people, and like it just like literally just happens. Like I don't know how to explain to people. Like with Michael, shout out to him by the way. Like he's been super supportive, and I think he was the first person to like invite me out to an event. So like I'll never forget that. So Michael did that, and like the way that I connected with him was through social media, like Twitter. I think he tweeted like, "Hey, I'm trying to get to gold rank in Apex Legends. Does anybody play the game?" And I just literally just reached out to him, and I was like, "Yeah, like I play, you know, like I'm ranked up. I like rank up regularly." And so he reached out back to me, and he's like, "Bet, like, you know, let's play." And then we just played. And by the way, he never got the gold. I tried my hardest to carry him, and he knows I'm messing with him if he hears this. But yeah, that's how I linked it with him. And later on, he hit me up and invited me out to. At the time, I was living in Dallas, Texas, and he invited me out there to go to one of his shows with John Keefe. And then like later on, he invited me again to go to another show with No Big Deal. And so like I got to meet all of them. So basically like an indie tribe, man. And so like yeah, that was that. But as far as like talking to anybody else, like I tell people like just reach out to them. Like if you have something that is valuable, like if you feel like you have like a song or something that you feel like they would be like great on, or like just something that you like, even a moment that you can share with them. Like if you think something's funny, like that they post or something like that, like literally just react to it, message them, and sometimes they message you back. And so like that's how you can start relationships. Like I feel like the best way to like making these connections with other artists and like all that is like to like engage with their stuff beyond music. Like even you, like you've posted about like anime and stuff like that. Like I'm, you know, like I'm a human being, so I'm gonna I'm gonna talk to people based on what my interests are. So like, and that's how relationships build, you know, and you just keep building on that.
Dang, yeah, that's facts. That's facts. Because I don't know about you, but I remember there was a time for me where I would just reach out to artists just for music, you know, not even trying to talk similar interests or anything like that. Just
Right.
talk about like, hey man, I like what you did on that song. Can you do that for my song? And then just get shut
Yeah.
down immediately.
And like it can become like really transactional when artists do that. Uh I feel like um I don't know, like yeah, like if the artist, like if you're trying to reach a bigger artist or whatever, like and they see that all you want is like yeah, like a transactional thing, like if you just want them to work on your song and like that's it, like they see nothing else, like I feel like that can even like kind of mess up that relationship or like kind of like put a wedge in it, you know, like so like I do think it's important for them to see you are a human being, and like for you to see them as a human being and like just interact with them in like a genuine way, you know, like
Hmm.
that's really important. In my opinion, like I'm not like a big artist or anything, like, and I don't talk to like everybody, but I mean like that's just something that I've observed as something important.
That's true. Have you ever been like that before? Like in that transactional phase before?
Yeah, like I think the very first person that I like did a big song with, like in my eyes, because they were a big artist and like it was something that I like really wanted to check off, was Joey Montez. Like I reached out to him because he was just like I loved his sound and I loved his music, and I was like I really just want to get a song with him. And so like when I reached out to him, it was just really about making that song. And like when he agreed to it, like that was like it for me, you know, like I didn't,
Mm.
it's not that I didn't care about him as a person or anything like that, but it was just like I was so focused on making that song that like I'm sure to him it came off as like I just want your feature, like, you know. So like, and I mean you learn. So and I still talk to him every now and then, like I message him, and like I've grown out of that, so like hopefully, you know, that's different.
Yeah, I hear you with that, man. Because even just looking back at my own artist journey, there are some artists that I've just hit up in the past just to get something from them. I'll hit them with the "Hey man, how you doing?" And then they'll be like, "I'm good." And then I'll be like, "Hey, I've got XYZ to work on."
Oh, that's another thing is like I don't like, I've had artists reach out to me like and just say hey. And I'm like, I almost don't even want to respond to that
Yeah, I
because
know.
like you're putting the ball in my court, and like I'm not the one that reached out to you. So like if you're gonna reach out to me, like at least have some substance for me to work off of.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, because it's almost like they're giving you, okay, I don't know if this is how guns work at all, because I don't shoot guns, but it's kind of like they fire a blank and then they fire the whole bullet.
Yeah.
It's just like that. It's just like, dang, you're just gonna hit me with all that? It's like they
That's
hit.
that also that like if I feel like if an artist just kind of like goes like full throttle, like if they're like, hey, and then you're like, hey, like, hey, will you be on this, and this, like it kind of throws me off. Like, establish like do some icebreakers with me first, like,
Hmm.
like yeah, establish a relationship first, and then we can talk about like working together. You know?
Yeah, yeah. Like, and I don't know about you, but I feel like there's some artists in this space, or just some artists in just other spaces that I have a relationship with, but I just don't feel a desire to work with them because I feel like even though it would be cool to work with them,
Yeah,
I just can't see our, styles and genres really blending with each other,
yeah,
and I'd rather just stay friends with them if that makes sense. Do you feel that way?
that's that's important. Like, I agree with that 100%. I feel like I try to have self awareness, and like I feel like in general, like I have a good ear for knowing like who would, like because if I study an artist, I can like tell if they'd be good with like a specific sound, and then like also I try to like recognize like maybe like me and them wouldn't be the best together, even though they're great. Like
Mhm.
I'll just let them stay in their lane, and like I'll try to build a different way. And like you said, just stay as friends. But like yeah, like I agree. Like it's not always gonna work out, and it's not like you shouldn't try to work with every single artist friend that you have. Like that's not ideal. Sometimes.
Right,
Yeah,
you can't, I mean, some artists are really good at being versatile, some aren't, but,
yeah,
like, I've heard it said that some artists just try to be a buffet
yeah,
of, like, musical genres,
yeah.
and, like, buffet food in itself isn't the greatest either. So
Right,
it's kind of best that you just kind of cater your sound to a specific sound. I mean, I'm not trying to say to box yourself to one specific genre or style, but
right.
it's kind of like it's kind of like what you said. Don't necessarily work with everyone if you don't see yourself blending. Like, for example, I'm trying to think of some artists that I can think of from the top of my head. I mean, I honestly can't really think of one. Oh, okay. So here's an artist that I thought of that, like, it would be cool if I made a song with them, but I don't know how I would. Like, do you know who Thomas Iannucci is?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like I'm friends with him, but I don't really see myself making a song with him, and but
Mhm.
that's okay though. Like I'm totally okay with that.
And it doesn't mean that you don't value their music or anything. Like it just, on the contrary, it could mean that you value their lane so much that like you don't want to mess that up. Like,
Yeah.
and so yeah, I agree with that. Although I will say, like for example, like, and I'm gonna bring in like like, have you heard Lil Yachty's new album?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I
here.
have.
Like you would never expect that from an artist like Yachty, and like I love that album. Like sonically, like the sounds were like so different compared to what he normally does. That like you said, like it's not about boxing ourselves in, because like if you're able to experiment like that, and like you sometimes you can make the best music like that, man.
Right, man.
Yeah,
Woo, woo.
yeah, that was fire to me.
That was so good.
Mhm.
Yeah, man. So another question I was gonna ask regarding artists and collaborations and styles. Okay, just kind of just segueing into a different topic. How
Yeah,
did you know what your style was, like style of music? I mean, like I know that you said, you're 5 years old, you loved rap, but how did you know it was that specific rap? I mean, I guess that doesn't really make sense because rap is so nuanced
yes,
nowadays. So
it is nuanced. I know for sure, like, I can't really tell you like what my style is, but I could tell you like something that I feel like I kind of stay away from is like I try to stay away from like trap, music, like trap beats and stuff like that, I feel like it doesn't really suit me in terms of what I'm looking for in sound. Like I try my best to look for like very unique sounding like instrumentals and stuff like that. Like I feel like trap is so like, in my opinion, it can be very generic. And even though like a lot of people go for that because like most hits are like trap these days, you know,
Hmm.
like the hard hitters and all that, like but I feel like I've tried to make trap before and like I just like sit with it and it just doesn't resonate with me as a person. Like it doesn't sound like what I want. And so like I try to stay away from trap. I don't really do like melodic rapping. Most of that has to do with the fact that I can't sing.
Hmm.
But like I don't really do like the melodic like hooks and raps like my music. I try to just I don't know. Like I really wouldn't even know how to answer that question. Like I try not to say I have a specific style because I do like to experiment.
Mm. Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel that. I feel
Yeah.
that too, man. I feel like the artist journey really is all about experimenting until you see what you like and also what other people like too, in a way.
Hmm.
Because, I mean, I know with music and art, like for me, I would say it's an outlet, it's
Yeah.
an expression for what I like, and I don't necessarily have to cater to specific people. If they like it, they like it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Uh, s so, I mean, do you feel the same way where you just make it for yourself and not necessarily for other people, but if they like it, they like it?
I used to do that. So like something that I feel like I've kind of tried to come to terms with is like it used to sound really cool when I used to say like I only do this music for myself and if people accept it then cool. And if not then cool too, you know, like at least I'll be happy with it. But then like I saw another perspective. I think I saw like you know who Romar Jesse is?
Yeah, I know who he is.
Yeah, I think he put out like a quote or something on social media that said like music, as much as it is about like your inner like satisfaction and about you, it's also a service.
Mm,
So like you're putting it out there as a service to people. And so like you're like I'd be lying if I said I don't want people to like my music. Like because I do want people to enjoy it, you know, like I do want that. And so like as much as it is about me being authentic and me liking what I make, I also have to keep in mind that I'm making it for others to listen to. And so it's kind of like a dichotomy. There's that word again.
mhm,
It is a dichotomy. It's like a balance. So you don't want to make it all about other people, because then then you lose yourself as an artist, you lose your creativity and your individuality. But at the same time, you do have to understand that if you're putting it out to the public, like there is an expectancy there, and you don't also want to neglect like that. You're gonna have other ears listening to it. Um, and most of that has to do with like you just want to be excellent. So like you do want to do it to where you're happy with it, but like do it with high quality, and then also like understand like your audience's needs.
mhm.
I don't know if that makes sense, but
Oh, that made sense, bro. That was good. Yeah, thanks for sharing that perspective. I actually needed to hear that because it made me think about how just because you're doing it for yourself doesn't mean that you have to have or doesn't mean that you have to still use audacity
yeah,
uh or just like not take constructive criticism because I still I'm upgraded to FL Studio 20 now. I used to use a cracked FL Studio 12 on my PC laptop, but now I have 20 and now and it's just important too because if you really do love your art and like you said, there is an expectancy that people will listen to it. And
yeah,
I'd be lying too if I said I don't want people to listen to it or I don't want people to like it.
right,
So if I want people to like it, then it has to be high quality, like you said, and I have to be willing to take constructive criticism and as much as it might hurt in the moment, uh
right.
it'll help. And in the long
Yeah.
run.
Yeah, and I see it kind of like cooking a meal. Like, you're putting your heart into it, and at the end of the day, like you try your hardest, but other people are gonna eat it too. And so like,
Mm.
you want them to enjoy it too, even though it was something that you were, like you crafted and something you love. Yeah, that's how I see it.
Hmm. I like that analogy too. I like that. So another question that I kind of have, I kind of want to get into the part of the podcast. This is a segment in the podcast where I want to ask the guest what's been on their mind lately, because I want this to serve also as a weekly journal entry for whatever has been heavy or light or just anything that's on your mind that you'd like to share. So this week, what's been on your mind, Amar?
I think right now I'm like a little bit stressed out because I have to um put more work outside of music into my music. So like, um I hate to name drop, but like I've been talking to Marty, like you mentioned him, to
Yeah.
Marty, and he's been helping me a lot. He's kind of been mentoring me with like how to get my like career, like music side, like to grow and to develop. And he has been like just sharing a bunch of tips from like I have to be like making more like reels and more like video content, like for my music, like recording my music, doing like, maybe like a sit down like performance, kind of like a tiny desk concert like style thing, like just a bunch of like tips that I have to make like all this content for people to be able to have their eyes on me as an artist. And like before all that, like I hate, I'm not gonna lie to you, like I don't like TikTok, like I don't like having to like get in front of a camera and like perform. It's not really my thing, but like I have to understand that if I'm making music, like it's not gonna get out there unless I'm like constantly in front of people's faces, with like
Mm.
content, new ideas, and things outside of the actual like music. And so like that's kind of been stressing me out in the sense that like um I'm having to like put in time to like really like conceptualize ideas for videos and like stuff like this, like do like more like interviews and talk to more people. That it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but like it is worth it. Like you want your music to succeed, you want your music to get out there as much as possible. So like I'm not seeing it as like something, like I'm trying to be like content with it, and I'm trying to see it from the perspective of this will be rewarding for me,
Mm.
like, long term. So yeah, that's been on my mind.
I feel that. I feel that with the video content and just always creating content for that music, man. Cause,
Yeah,
cause like, see, that's dope that you have Marty as your mentor to kind of guide you and stuff like that for what you
yeah,
can do and should do. And cause there's a lot of artists out here too that, they either don't have a mentor or they just don't feel super motivated to create content or just super intimidated.
yeah,
And I guess what I was trying to say is that it's kind of okay, I'm just gonna say this bluntly. It's kind of a shame that, that artists, like some artists nowadays, they have social media, they have all the tools like
mhm,
YouTube, Instagram, but they're not creating content on it to push their music out there. They're just kind of
yeah.
like releasing it out on Spotify and then just expecting people to just come flock toward it.
Yeah, and we keep going back like to this balance thing, right? So like some people say like it's all about the art, and if the art is good, then it's gonna do its thing. And I agree with that. It is about the art. But then there's also the content side of it, like the marketing side of it, the business side of it, which like as an artist, you hate to have to like acknowledge it, but like it's there. Like you have to market your music, you have to do that work. Like if you don't have a team behind you to help you do that, like you have to learn to do it, because otherwise like you don't expect your good music to get out there. Like the world is so like oversaturated with good music. Like there's a lot of good artists out there, a lot. And like for you to stand out, like you need to go above and beyond with like content and marketing. And so like you can't rely on your art anymore. Like as much as I
Mhm.
hate to say that, like I wish that like I could only focus on my art and that on by itself it would take off, but like that's very, very rare. And so like you do have to invest in other ways.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's facts. Actual factual. And excuse me. Yeah, man, like I agree with you that I wish it was just kind of easier where we just have to put music out and then that's it.
Yeah.
But like that's true. We have to learn, you know, as much as we don't want to or feel like it's a hassle, we do have to learn the marketing and the branding. Like I remember like I remember the first time someone told me like, "What is your brand?" I was like, "I don't know." Like what's that? What's that like
Yeah.
Nike?
Yeah.
So yeah, man. So
And
branding is important.
I'm kind of happy that like Once Wicked was an idea that came up for like me because like I feel like that is a brand. I can like package that to people. Now like the difficulty for me now is that since I'm doing like I'm trying to have our artists do like solo like pages and like for them to like put out their solo content is like to keep Once Wicked a part of that.
Mm.
Like we're still gonna be putting out collective work, right? But I want to find ways to use that as the brand for our individual stuff as well. Like for people not to forget, like, hey, we're like, yeah, I'm Amar, but I'm Once Wckd, you know.
Mm.
So like, I feel like I'm still having to like think of ways to do that because I do feel like I have a brand there. Like we have logos and we have like we've done clothing in the past and like so like you know and the whole idea behind it is a brand. So like
Yeah. And
yeah.
something that I've noticed too that what you've done on social media, you've done the collab post too to kind of refer back to Once Wicked, right?
Yeah. I've been trying to do that. Um, and then like we do have music coming out this year too as a collective. Everybody keeps asking like who's in Once Wckd. So like you know I've been talking to my friends and I'm like we need to come up with like music together and like launch it like with our individual names like
Mm.
attached to it as well so that people know like who's in it. Yeah, so we're
Okay.
gonna do that.
Okay, bet. Excuse me. So something I was gonna go back to, excuse me. I was just gonna go back to the whole marketing and branding and video content and stuff like that. Just some gems that I've learned as well. Excuse me, sorry about that. I
Are you
had a
good?
donut, so it's kind of sticky in my throat. So something that I've learned and some gems that I've heard too is if you want to make video content, and like I've recently just started doing this too, or I just continue to make what I make. Like I'm sure you see I make the skits and stuff like that, the skits on my Instagram reels, the TikToks, and
Yeah.
I just put my music in the background, just like here
Bro,
and
you're kind of famous on TikTok, huh? I was
there.
seeing that. You've gotten like a bunch of views. I like checked it out and I was like, man, like I did not know this.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
man.
got that on lock.
Yeah, bro, I do. But the thing is, it's so hard to keep that momentum because once you stop making TikTok content
Yeah,
for a few months, it's hard to get back up to those views.
the
Like,
algorithm.
like I'll be real, those 4 million, 1 million view that you see on TikTok,
Yeah.
those only happen for like a short moment, and then I stopped making it because I got tired of making
Mhm.
TikToks. But I'm trying to get back into it to and then incorporate my music into it, and it's at first it was hard just trying to think of ways to incorporate my music within my video content without being too promotey, if that makes sense.
Well, I got a question off of that. Do you feel like like it's easier to experience burnout doing like video content or music?
Ooh,
Or like do you feel like it's not really a difference?
I feel like both are kind of the same.
Yeah.
I feel like both are kind of the same because with video content, I feel like you have to experiment with it in order to not experience burnout. And I feel
Mhm.
like that's the same with music too, where you kind of just have to try a completely different style. Like like I have this unreleased rock song that
Yeah.
like I just did just for fun, and like it kind of took me out of my burnout in a way because before I was just making, like how to describe it, melodic rap type of songs, just like melodic rap, Juice World type beats, XXXTentacion type beats, Ian Dior
Yeah.
type beats. I was on the phase for a little bit, and then I got kind of burnt out making like melodic type of rap. So then I just experimented with, okay, what if I just tried, you know, rock for a little bit, just experiment with that. And I feel like that's how it is with video too.
You gotta have some like crazy vocals to do rock. I feel like. Well, I guess it depends on what kind of rock too, right?
Yeah, it was like alternative rock. It was just
Oh,
like,
okay then. Yeah, I guess
yeah,
it's
yeah,
not.
yeah, yeah. It's not
I
like,
was expecting like some metal, man, like some
no, no,
crazy.
no, no. It's not like some metal. No, it's just like it's a little bit off from the melodic rap. It's a little branch off, just the experiment.
Have you thought like that we need like more platforms to like showcase like different genres in Christian music? Because like we got CHH, but like do we have CR like Christian rock or like C alternative something? Like I feel like for somebody that makes like a like music like a genre that isn't like recognized by either worship or hip hop, like I feel like they don't really have a platform to like really show their stuff. Like I feel like
Mm,
CHH kind of has been putting the spotlight on like people that make rock or like pop in a way. Like like Mowgli from Indie Tribe, and
oh
like
yeah,
I'm trying to think of who else like that makes like pop type music. Um,
Jude Barclay.
yeah, him. Yeah, like I feel like they do get showcased as part of CHH, even though it's hip hop. Like so.
Yeah.
Like, do we need to like somehow expand that, or like, is there a way to, like, do you see that happening in the future?
Oh man, that's a great question. Because honestly, bro, I feel like hip hop has blended so much with pop and rock lately
Yeah,
that I feel like we're in general, outside of the Christian music space, outside of that, music is just becoming so fluid, and I don't know what's the word, gender fluid? No, whoa, no, not gender fluid. Genre
yeah,
fluid. Genre fluid.
that's a clip.
Yeah, that's a clip. Music has become so genre fluid, and all the styles are just kind of mixing anyway. So I don't. It's interesting. That's a good question because like there definitely are artists that make Christian type of lo-fi. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like I
Like I'll
mean,
give this example. Like my friend, like from the project, she was a fighter, Risa. When we were making that project, like I don't know if you've heard it, but like the first track,
mhm,
Morning Prayer, it's got like guitar in it, and like it's not really CHH, like, but I had to package it to like I sent it off to like CHH platforms, and I try to promote it as a CHH album, and I'm like I rap on it, but I'm like this was kind of like venturing outside of hip hop like sonically, in my opinion. And so that's when that thought came to my mind. I'm like, is there really a platform for like this kind of music? You know? And
mhm.
so that's why I was asking you, like, it's just interesting
Yeah.
to think about.
Yeah, I think it depends too on what websites pop up because Rapzilla, for example, that's a that's a huge Christian hip hop website that I
Yeah.
feel like 90% of Christian hip hop fans know about. And I feel like there just needs to be another website or platform because I know CHH, I mean, I know Rapzilla, for example, they've been here for years and they've just been promoting and helping out a lot with the space.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like Spotify has definitely been able to help as well because they have their own playlists. They have the gospel frequency playlists, and I feel like,
Mhm.
but the thing with Spotify playlists is that it's harder to get landed on those too.
Yeah.
So like,
I have yet to be landed on those. So
no, yeah, me too.
one day.
One day, I I made it to a Rapzilla playlist for a few months, and then they took me off. But Weird flex, but okay.
No, hey man, you should be proud of that. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like any success like should be celebrated. Like even just for you, like you should celebrate every success.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man. Yeah, because then it'll kind of motivate you to keep going and stuff
yeah,
like
because there's not there. We don't get those often. Like whenever, like if you're not already like established and you're still like in the phase of like putting in like a lot of work and like trying to get recognized, like any little like acknowledgement to me, like I'm gonna take that. Like I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna be grateful for it. Like
that.
because it's awesome. Like it's awesome to get recognized and it's awesome to have people like really put a light on you. Like I'm super grateful for whoever has done that for me. So,
Right. It's also a great way to battle imposter syndrome too.
yeah, yes,
Yeah. Do
that's
you deal with
awesome.
that?
Huh? Not anymore. I'm trying to like. I'm actually more on like the other side of, no, I can't say the other side of that, but no, like I've been like really like driving it into my head that like I belong here. Like if God gave me these talents, even if I don't become like super big or anything like that, like the talents are still gonna be used. Like I'm gonna use them and I'm not gonna regret it. And like if I know that I tried my hardest, like I'm gonna be content with that. Like, and I'm like, if God gave it to me, then it's for him. Like, so I'm gonna give it to him. So
Mm.
like I don't think I used to have that. But I'm like I feel like that's like an almost like an irrational fear because like if you really think about it, like because imposter syndrome is like you feel like you don't fit in to a space, but it's like man, like the space is so like diverse and like, there's like super big artists and there's like super small artists and like who's to say like who are we to say like who belongs and who doesn't? We're
Mm.
all doing it for God, Like I feel like that shouldn't even be a thing.
Yeah. I hear that. I hear that.
I don't know.
I hear that.
Maybe I'm
But
wrong.
yeah. Do you feel like this might be a little bit of a kind of cutting question, but do you feel like there are some artists that do gatekeep or like try to keep l- smaller artists down in the space?
Um, yeah, I mean, I've heard it. Like, I've heard even bigger artists talk about it. Like, I've seen tweets. Like, I think even recently I saw a tweet don't you hate it when people will close doors just to keep you from elevating like your like your music or like your opportunities? Like, I saw a tweet like that recently from a bigger artist, and like, um, I do think like I don't know who I couldn't like, and I don't want to like really bring up names like
Yeah. Yeah, don't.
and I can't really like say like like you don't want to talk bad about anybody, but like I do think that's a thing. Um, and I also like think that it's very hard for smaller artists to um like get a spotlight because it's so like saturated.
Mm.
Like I feel like it's so like I'm trying to be careful here because like I'm super grateful for all the platforms that do like share the content and all that, but I do feel like it's easy for like a lot of platforms to like default to only showing music from artists that are already well known because it's like, oh, everybody already knows these artists, so like let's just like focus on their music because their music is going to be what gets us clicks, or their music is going to be what gets us like people to like go to like check out, like it's going to get us more traffic and audience basically. So like
Mhm.
I feel like that's an easy, like it's almost like an instinctual thing to like only focus on the bigger artists. Um, but at the same time, like on the other side of that, like smaller artists should work to prove themselves.
Mm.
Like like if you're not being recognized, like work harder, to
Mm.
be recognized. Like if you feel like you really have like a gift, like it's on you to succeed. Like it's on you to put in the work ethic for people to like be like, we can't ignore Emmanuel anymore. Like he's
Mhm.
doing this, and this. Like there's no way we can ignore him. So it's on both sides. Yeah.
That's facts. Yeah, that's
I feel like
facts.
I've been doing that this whole like podcast is like there's just a balance, like there's two sides to it. So it's
Yeah.
just finding that like sweet spot.
Yeah, I love how it just comes all together. Like there really is a balance, because man, bro, I feel that, because smaller artists, I mean, I'm still a small artist too, by the way. Like, I'm not big by any means at all. But like, something that I've learned too is that stop being entitled, you know, like, if,
Yeah,
like you said, if you're not putting in the work to, you know, like you as in general, not you specifically, but if
yeah,
you're not putting in the work to showcase who you
yeah,
are and to actually prove to other people that, hey man, like, you know, I'm worth looking at, then
yeah.
you don't deserve to be looked at. You don't deserve,
Like
in a
just
way.
even like look at like go to any big artist page and like look at their like timeline, and you can see like they're constantly posting stuff. Like they're never stopping, you know, like, and if a bigger artist is not stopping with their content, then why do you as a smaller artist think that you should stop, or that you should like not post often, you know? Like
Hmm.
if they're putting in that much work, even though they're already recognized, that means that like it's important, you know? And so um like I think like they're not small anymore, at least in my opinion, but like an artist that was smaller that like blew up because they were like putting out so much work is Caleb Gordon. Like,
Yeah.
bro, like when I checked out his like social media, like he's constantly putting out like reels and reels and reels and reels, and like dude is like he does not run out of energy for those things. Like, you know, like, and I feel like now he's so well known in the space that like, and it's like I feel like he can be proud of it because like he's put in the work, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
like
definitely.
he's got great music, but he's also got great work ethic.
Oh
So
yeah, definitely. I agree.
those
I
two
see.
things together is crazy.
Yeah, like, I see his videos pop up on my TikTok every now and then. Or like
Yeah,
him, Bats. I've seen Bats all over TikTok too.
yeah. Bats did that too, right? Where he was like constantly posting reels and stuff. Like I said, it's like you can't ignore those type of people because they are gonna. Those type of people are gonna be the people that like work to the point where, like you said, they're just gonna be on your timeline whether you like it or not.
Right,
You know what
right.
I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, and I want to be like that, and like I want to get out of the like the mindset that like that, oh, I don't like making videos, oh, I don't like making reels and more content, you know, like I have to get out of that mindset if I want to get in. So
Right. I feel that, man. It's it's like you said, the market or the space is oversaturated. Why not, you know, just add your give more of yourself so people know who you are.
yeah,
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
but,
I like that. Yeah, this is a good conversation. I'm really digging this.
yes
I'm
sir,
really digging this.
yes sir. Do you want me to? Can I shoot some questions to you?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
All right, these are like pop questions, so like you can answer with a yes, no, or like short answers. Like you don't have to elaborate too much, or if you want to, you can. But okay, so like music related, do you prefer a crowded studio or a quiet studio?
I've actually never been in a crowded studio. I've always just been recording in my own room.
Have you seen
So
videos of artists when they're recording and they got like 20 people in the studio?
I have seen those. I've yet to experience something like that.
Yeah,
The only time I have experienced something like that was actually working with another artist in the studio and just kind of bouncing off ideas. Like, I like that
how does that
aspect.
feel? You like that?
Yeah, I like that feel. I've yet to experience the crowded studio.
Okay. Where do you record most of your music? I guess you already answered that. You said in your room.
Yeah, just in my room, man.
Cool, cool, cool. Who do you check your tracks with to make sure they're good? Like, do you have like a buddy that you're like, hey, I just made this, and before I release it, like, do you think it's like, do you like it? Like, what do you think I can improve on, or do you have somebody like that?
Yeah, I actually do. So I have these artists friends that I've known since I started, I want to say. You know, shout out Wabi Fresco, shout out Angelo Cassiano. We have our own collective called Moxalania.
Oh, jeez.
And yeah, and so basically this collective, just to plug it real quick, the point is to bring aesthetics to the max, X out of X, so 10 out of 10.
Hmm.
And basically we kind of keep each other in check for like before we release our song, like, hey, does this sound good? Do you guys have any constructive criticism? Because I know, like, for me, I can get into my own head thinking like this is the greatest thing I've ever created, but I have to kind of check with someone else to see if they agree or if they also see what
Yeah.
I hear.
Okay. Cool. Do you have any pre-recording ritual? So like by but what I mean by that is like for example for me like I like to go buy snacks and I like to get like certain drinks or whatever like and then like make sure I feel good and like I can't record unless I have like snacks or something like that. Like do you have
Mm.
anything like that where you feel like you can't record unless I do this?
I want to say no. I think I just go into it, to be honest.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, I used to do vocal warm-ups, but
Hmm.
then I realized that if I just, rap it or record it, just like a few bad takes, that is my vocal warm-up in a way.
Yeah, yeah. Like just get a few takes out of the way and then like you're already used to the verse anyways.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
It's
you get
like,
used to it.
yeah, it's killing
Yeah.
two birds with one stone that way.
I feel like I do that too. Okay, I have a few more. Do you prefer making singles or projects?
Oh man, I love making projects. Not gonna lie, I really do love them. But apparently, in this music space, we're supposed to be making singles
Yeah,
because they say that's the move.
it is the move, and that's what I've heard, which is why I'm dropping singles like all year.
Yeah, man. Like I really like I dropped an album last year in 2022 called
Yeah,
Lucid Dreamer. That was so much fun to make. Just thinking of the story of a prideful person being humbled, just concepts like that. And
yeah,
I'm sure with your EP, She Was a Fighter, you had a concept that you just like love so much.
yes, bro. I love that project. Like I talk about that project like more than any other, I think, song or project that I worked on. Like I love like the concept behind it, which is like it has to do more with my friend because it's her story of her being a fighter. But like just the idea of like I really wanted to drive it home that like nowadays I feel like and it's more like people are more aware now, but like women in general have like not really had a big voice in CHH or like and most women have are never like seen as like fighters. Like when you think of like warriors and fighters, like you think of men that are like strong, like like you think of all that. But like women fight through stuff too, and they also have to
Mm.
like overcome obstacles. So like I really wanted to drive home like almost like a sermon of a woman being a fighter and overcoming her difficulties. So like
Mm.
so I love that concept. Like so yeah, man, it's
I
awesome.
rock with that concept. I like that.
Yeah, and like going back to like the singles over like projects question, like I'm trying really hard because like what you said, like singles are what drives things now. Is like how can I make my single a concept too? Like and obviously like
Mm.
you're because singles can be concepts, but like a lot of times they're just like, oh, what sounds really good, like what's gonna get the most replay value, or like a single. When you think of a single, at least for me, like sometimes I think like it's supposed to be more like fun and like just something to get like to give you like buzz. But like I'm trying to like really like with my singles at least, I'm trying to still have concepts behind them, even though it's just gonna be one song, to have like a really good idea behind each one.
Hmm.
So but yeah. Um who are your musical inspirations?
Oh, dang, that's a loaded question. I want to say, I don't want to. This is gonna sound like a boring answer, but I would say a lot of artists.
Okay.
But like, if I
Like
had a,
I guess like recently, like who are you like who comes off the top of your mind if you like just to name a few of like recently who have like inspired you?
okay, like
And it
first
doesn't have
thing,
to be like substance wise, it can just be like sonically,
yeah.
like
Oh man, I would say Kyle, if you know who he is.
I don't.
He's the guy who's saying, "I spy with my little eye, a girlie I can get, cause she don't get too many likes, a curly
I've
head."
never heard that.
You never heard that song, really?
Well, you gotta send it to me after.
Okay, bet, yeah. But like Kyle, he's like he's like a chill, a little bit of a melodic rap type of sound.
Mm-hmm.
Uh And another artist that I can think of from the top of my head, Travis Scott, I would say.
So
So like it's interesting because Travis is more of like a dark, heavy autotune type of guy, and Kyle is more
yeah,
of like a happy, melodic type of guy. So
yeah,
those two, I don't know, I just love the positive energy, but I also love the dark autotune energy as well,
like
which
the
is
ambient sound, like
yeah, bro, the
yeah,
ambient sound.
yeah,
So I'll say those two are the first two. Oh, Jaden Smith too. Like
cool. I love Jay.
as much of a weird dude he is, you know, like showing himself
Yeah,
crying and posting it on social media, like
that was weird, but like I heard that somebody clarified that it was because he was like shooting a video where he was supposed to cry or something like
oh,
that. I don't
okay.
know, but that was a weird video.
That was weird. Like he didn't need to post that.
Like who yeah, like have you ever like just cried and like you're in your feelings, like your first thought is to pull out your phone and record yourself?
Like I would have never thought to record myself crying. But like he's a weird dude, but I love his music.
Yeah, no, I love his music too. And like to go off of what you said, like I don't think like your inspirations necessarily have to be like what you aspired your sound to be like. Because like you said, like your sound may be nothing like Travis, but like something about his music kind of like motivates you.
Mm.
So like for me, like recently, like super recently, like I already mentioned like Lil Yachty or like even like Steve Lacy's
Oh,
album.
he's
Like
good.
my music sounds nothing like their music, but like I can say like just listening to it does like kind of get my creative like itch scratch. Like
Mm.
it helps me think about like what I can improve on and stuff. So like I love those kinds of like albums, projects, like artists that make music like that.
I hear you with that.
Then I have one more question for you. Is there any genre that you want to try that you?
Any genre? Oh man, I really want to try soundtracks, bro. Like anime type soundtracks.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, bro.
I
I
was
want to
gonna
try
say.
that. Like
I
with
was
the whole orchestra and a whole
yeah,
like stuff like that. Like I would love to just be like surrounded by, you know, just like stringed instruments or horns or just anything like I guess you can call it classical music in a way, but it's like here, I'm gonna send you an example of what I'm thinking of. It's an Attack on Titan soundtrack. It just sounds so godly, bro.
you know what song comes to mind? Like if I'm trying to like relate like rapping and like an anime intro or song, is have you heard that one from My Hero Academia? Like it's called like Hero A or something like that. It's like a rap.
I don't think so.
Um,
No, I haven't.
I can't play it on here, huh?
Yeah, I could probably search it up, or you can send me the link too.
Because I have it here. I can send you the link. But like I think there's a guy rapping on it, and here let me see.
Okay.
Not saying that you would rap on it, but I'm just saying like that's the first thing that I thought of.
Yeah, it's like anime rap because I know that's a thing too.
Yeah,
Where
I think so. I'm sure it is. I'm not really like well versed in this, but let me see.
yeah, because I would love to try because I'm gonna send you what I was thinking of, and
Okay.
then because I would really want to create a type of song where there's a female vocalist just
Cool.
singing her heart out, and where I don't know what I would incorporate into it, but
Yeah.
I'll send you this song, and then it's
Ooh,
just
you know what that made me think of? Like when you said female vocalist, like I want to get to the point at some point, like still focus on my music, but I would love to help other artists. Like if I can make a song that like even if I'm not in it, but if I can make music using like other artists and like people that play instruments, that'd be dope. Yeah.
roll. The first thing that popped into my mind was All of the Lights by Kanye.
Yeah. Like I love like I just love creating like even if I'm not the artist in the song, like to me it would still be fun to like put something together, using other people's
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, bro. That's I think that's a dream. That's a dream. Just like having a bunch of artists come together, just creating and like even if you're just like one verse, you know,
Yeah.
I'm happy with that. If I just get one verse.
Or like I like conceptualizing. So like even if I come up with a concept and somebody else makes it happen, like hey man, that'd be awesome. Like I'd love to do that.
Yeah, man. It's like you're the musical mastermind behind it all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I love that. I kind of want to shoot you some questions that you shot
Okay.
me, and I'm sure that you've answered some along the way too. So, could you go back through those questions again? And like, I kind of want you to answer them as well.
Okay. One of the questions, or crowded studio or quiet studio, I prefer quiet, and I
Mm,
don't think that's ever gonna change because I like to concentrate when I make my music. I feel like if
mm,
you have people talking, like it's awesome to get feedback, but like for me, like I have to really focus to know like what I like, and like later on, once I finish recording, then I like to bounce it off to different people. But
hmm.
I like quiet studio. Where do I record most of my music? Okay, this is gonna sound kind of contradicting to what I was saying about quality earlier, but I will explain. Like I record up until like most of my singles that I have coming out up until like May, I think, have been recorded in my car,
Okay.
and I have used Audacity. Like so, like, and the reason why that is because I just moved back to Colorado back in September, and I lived in Dallas, Texas, or like near Dallas, Texas, and I had a whole studio there. Like it was like a
Mm,
studio that like a pro studio that I was using, and it had like Logic and it had all the stuff that I needed. But like when I moved down here, I realized like I didn't have any of that here, because I was relying so much on that studio. So I like had to like think quick on like what I could use in the meantime, and I didn't have a space here to like have a quiet, like environment for me to record music. So I had to be using my car like up until now, because now you see this, and this is where I record now,
okay.
which is like an office space. So this is where I'm gonna be making my music now. But yeah, man, I had to like grind it out in like my car. Like it was definitely an experience.
Okay. Respect the grind though. Respect the
Avalanche,
grind though.
Avalanche, Clear the Air, all those were recorded in my car.
Oh, respect the grind though, man.
So let's see here. Who do you check your tracks with to make sure they're good? Do you want me to answer all these, or were there like specific
Oh,
ones?
you can answer all of them. I would like to hear your thoughts as well.
Who do I check my tracks with? Yeah, I have my friend Marco. He's one of the ones that I mentioned was part of Once Wckd. I like to like I show him my music and he like lets me know if he likes it or not. But like I don't really have a big team with that. Any pre-recording rituals? I said snacks. Do you prefer making singles or projects? I prefer projects, but projects take so much work and like you have to build up to them that like if I could focus on just that I would, but it would take me a longer time to put out something. And like you said, like right now it's like singles are the thing if you're trying to like get out there first. So like I have to do that. But yeah, I love projects. Who are your musical inspirations? I would say like if I name my like top all time like hip hop artists, like I would definitely have like J. Cole, Drake. Recently Kendrick. I used to not like Kendrick, but when he put out Mr. Morale, like it made me a Kendrick fan. I'm not
Oh,
gonna
nice. Let's go.
lie. Yeah. I would say like MF Doom. Have you ever heard him?
Oh, I know MF Doom. Yeah, rest in
Yeah, I
peace.
love. To me, like he was so creative, man. Like the whole idea behind his mask and like how what that meant for him as an artist, and like how he wanted people to focus on the music, and like his name even like MF standing for like metal face and like metal fingers and like
Oh, I thought it stands for something else.
no, it doesn't. It stands for metal face because he
Okay.
got that metal mask, and then metal fingers because he's also a producer. So like metal fingers with like the beat
Oh,
making.
shoot.
And so like he would produce his music too, and like I just thought he was so creative that like yeah, man, like MF Doom is like a big inspiration for me. And then I would say like more. Have you ever heard of Immortal Technique?
Immortal Technique. I think I have.
Yeah, like I loved his music coming like growing up, and then like I don't know, like Nas, yeah, just a
Hmm.
few others. Like those are my like goats though. Like I have like other like I did mention like Brockhampton. I think in a message like I love what they did as a group. So like I kind of did want to do something like that as a group with Once Wckd. Like Brockhampton, like to me. They're awesome. Like I love their sound too. I don't know. Those are some of my musical inspirations.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I would definitely add Drake as a part of mine. Drake, Cole, Kendrick, you know, the goats.
Yeah. Hey man, I feel like Drake gets so much hate, like, and people think he's like corny or whatever. That like, I'm not. I'm a fan of Drake, man. I'm always
Me
gonna say
too.
I'm a fan. I feel like he gets so much hate that I'm just gonna say I'm.
Yeah, like he gets so much undeserved hate. We're just like,
Yeah,
bro, like Drake inspired this whole generation, I would say. This whole new
exactly.
generation.
Like you can't deny his influence. Like, and it kind of like bothers me when people like to troll on Drake just because I guess like it's the popular thing to do. Like, I don't
Hmm.
know. I don't even know what it is, but yeah, I'm a fan of it. Um, is there any genre that you want to try that you haven't? Is the last question. Um, yeah, I would say like alternative, like hip hop. I like hip hop rock too. Like
Okay.
it kind of like I kind of like dabbled into that a little bit when she was a fighter. Like in a way, like I kind of wanted, like I just couldn't go too far out there because I don't have like the tools to do that. But I would love to, and like I mentioned, like even if I'm not part of like the project itself, like the verses or anything like that, I would love to put together like some kind of project like that with other artists who can do that. Because yeah, like alternative rock would be awesome for me to try.
Yeah, man, that would be nice. And see,
Yeah,
I mean, like, yeah, that would be nice. I would love to hear you sing.
yeah. I'd have to learn a lot though. We're
Yeah,
not
man.
there yet, so yeah. I think that's it.
Sweet. Yeah, I think it's a good place to wrap up. Hey, man. Amar, thanks for hopping on the show. Do you have anywhere that people can find you at? Anything you want to plug?
All my handles are Amar the Artiste. So that's artiste as in ARTEEST. So Amar the Artiste. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, just anywhere if you use that username. And TikTok now because I did start TikTok. I'm gonna start putting reels on there. And no, I think that's it. Yeah.
Okay, bet. Yeah,
Thank
thank
you
you
so much
guys.
for having me.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thank you for hopping on. I really love the conversation, the new perspective,
Yeah.
and just the creative talk, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, appreciate y'all watching. Hope y'all stay blessed, take care, and hope y'all just have a great rest of your week. Peace out, y'all.